What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and help you guys better understand what may end up playing out for the future. So that is correct, guys. I am going to give you guys my price prediction for this year. I'm going to run the numbers for you guys and help you see how the price may end up moving for the year 2022. Now, before I say anything about it though, before I say anything about Tesla, I do have to mention the typical stuff. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below in the description. If you do sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're not only going to qualify for up to 5 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500, but you're also going to have the opportunity to win up to $200,000 as Moomoo is giving away 200 grand for the new year. So if you want a chance to win $200,000, guys, please check out the link down below. Deposit $100 to get your chance. And with that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Tesla, we have some very interesting things going on with the price action. Now, I want to note something. I don't truly know what's going to happen in the future, guys. Things could change like extremely. They could change to some massive degree in just 1 month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now. So I can't promise that any of this is going to be right or anywhere close to being right, but I can give you guys a prediction for fun based off the current market conditions, right? And based off what I think is going to happen, right? Because a lot of people on YouTube don't like to go too far out into the future because they know it's very difficult to really make an accurate prediction. But we do know that we are bullish for Tesla for the long term. That's the real thing we could say. We just don't truly know to what real degree. So, given that information and given what I think is going to happen in the current market conditions, I'm just going to do it for fun, okay? I'm going to let you guys know what I think could play out. And maybe this could help you guys in some way because a lot of you guys have been requesting for this. So, the first thing is we have the Evergrande situation. And as you guys know, massive Chinese property developers, they're on the verge of bankruptcy. Now, this is actually pretty important, but maybe not extremely significant. But it is important because of the fact that as they default on their debt, it's a very similar situation to the Lehman situation. And because of this, guys, this can affect these massive market makers in America because big institutions, they depend on Chinese money. They use it as collateral, at least to some large extent. And because they depend on it, the money that they invested in these companies is going to be worthless. So the big institutions in America are going to take some big hits. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to meet margin requirements because of this, and this will play somewhat of a role. Now, when it comes to that, additionally, guys, as the Fed Bullard stated, there has been too much focus on the notion that inflation is going to dissipate. Don't worry about inflation. And he wants the Fed to become a little bit more hawkish. So the Fed is going to be raising rates to some degree. We don't truly know the extent yet. He did say he wants a 1% rate hike by July of 2022. But it could actually be a 0.5% in March, as that is what many analysts are looking out for. So I believe there's a 55% chance we'll see a zero point 0.5 or a 50 basis point rise in the interest rates by, I would say, around mid-March, maybe a little bit later than that, but around that time frame. Now, another thing that's very capricious right now is that whole Ukraine situation. We don't truly know how that's going to play out, right? We don't really know how that's going to happen because we don't know what Russia wants to do. We don't know what their true intent is or if they're just bluffing. So we're going to have to wait on this. I really hope that nothing too crazy happens. And if it does happen that way, then so be it. But whatever happens, guys, that is going to have an effect on the market. But the question is, how is the market going to respond? So for the SPY, I don't necessarily see a market crash happening. Okay, that's my honest opinion. I could be totally wrong because if you look at the amount of puts that are being bought right now, the majority of investors right now have been just loading the boats on puts. Now, these aren't just massive institutions, it's also retail. So typically what the wave does is the opposite of what ends up happening. If everyone now is anticipating a crash, which is why the large majority of retail investors are buying puts, then it seems like it's not going to happen that way because if it was that easy, we'd all be super rich, and that's not necessarily the case. So what I think is going to happen, guys, and another big thing is the fact that 2022 is the midterm election year. We know that Jerome Powell, how should I say this? I'm trying to put this in the most nice way as possible. The Fed, they don't want to skew data or they want to do what they can to protect certain people, right? That's how I'm going to put it. And they're going to do what they can to stop a crash, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to get political because I've agreed with people on either side of the political aisle. I've also disagreed. But like I said, that's just another reason why I don't think we're going to see a massive crash. We could see a correction, but this market is so crazy. It has very, very fast moves. So if something happens, the market will just crash really hard, then all of a sudden it runs up the next day. I mean, it's insane. The volatility in this market is insane. Very high implied volatility. Kind of fun to trade options, but I'm not really going there. So what's going to happen to Tesla? Let's try to map this out. And I'm going to zoom out of the chart a lot because there we go. So this line right here, this is the end of 2022. Where do I see Tesla going? And I'm actually pretty bullish towards the end of the year, but a little bit bearish for the next couple of months. So here's how I see this. So for Tesla, imagine we're right here. I feel like this is maybe too small. Hold on one second. Hold on. Let me try to zoom into the chart because I want to show the entire thing, right? That's what makes this a little bit trickier for me. Let's make it maybe like this. Okay, that should do it. There we go. Okay, so I used a Fibonacci retracement chart to show you guys the golden pocket. Here's the interesting thing. We ran up to 1,243 and we ended up retracing, and we have very high resistance perfectly at where the golden pocket is, because typically what happens to stocks is we drop really hard, and the golden pocket is the area where we bounce off of that and we have a big trend reversal. In Tesla's case, that's not what happened. Instead, we're having lots of resistance right there, right? That's very, very strange. But based off these levels of resistance, I can make a prediction. So what I think is going to happen is I think we're going to run up and fill that gap. I know it's very tiny. And then we're probably going to drop again and just trade sideways for a couple of weeks. Maybe we're going to slowly start to step our way up. We should be back in maybe the $940 range. But it does depend on the Ukraine situation. So if Ukraine does invade Russia, and let's just go over a scenario if that were to happen. So let's start off like this. If there's no invasion, this is what Tesla could end up looking like. Trading in maybe the mid to maybe higher 900s, right? If we were to start to rebound. Now, if there is a big invasion, and I'm going to change the color of this. Okay. If there's an invasion, Tesla's going to drop. So is the entire market. It's going to be an exaggerated drop, obviously. We're probably going to trade down here for a little bit of time and then have a spring-like reversal very quickly before we start to really run up. Now, here's the thing, guys. Let's assume either scenario plays out, kind of like that. Right? They're very similar. But here's the problem. Now we're going to have interest rates going up. So as a result of that, what could end up happening is we're probably going to see Tesla drop a little bit because the media is going to exaggerate and go crazy. So Tesla might drop like this, down to 920, run up, and then take a bit of a hit before we recover really quickly. And then what could end up happening is there's going to be all this FUD, other crazy things happen. We might see another rate hike over the summer, but we're not going to drop as hard. And what's going to happen is Tesla's going to have their earnings. They're going to get better fundamentally. Some big announcement comes out. And slowly we're going to gain some steam, I think, towards the time it starts getting warmer, or at least maybe by summertime. That's where I kind of start to see Tesla running up really hard again. Because the question is, are we already adjusted to inflation and interest rate hikes? I don't truly know that. So maybe we'll slowly start to run up, test 1,000, because I see us breaking past 1,000 just maybe a couple of weeks. And after that, guys, we might see a very, very big rally, probably around July. and we may end up going close to the 1200, and then we might get rejected. Maybe like a white coffee and like rejection because another rate hike or something could come. Then boom, towards the end of the year. And that's what I think. We're going to start running really hard. And we're going to run all the way up like that. To me, that would not be surprising. Then the next year comes, we drop a little bit. And we continue like that, right? Just like that. So just like what I'm anticipating, a big drop here. We'll slowly gain ground, see some drops here and there, and we'll keep running up. Now, with the whole Russia situation, right, this is going to be a different reality, which is why I have a different line for that. If Russia did invade Ukraine, I expect us to drop for a few weeks, then we run up a little bit, and then we're going to have rate hikes. Tesla's going to probably drop a little bit again. And we're probably going to trade on this channel maybe in a sideways manner for a couple of weeks because we're already undervalued compared to our all-time high, right? And maybe that's already adjusted to these changes. Then we start to run up. We have another change, another rate hike. And then we start running. By July, boom. We run up again. Very hard run up. And we're going to just test the $1,100 level of resistance a few times before we finally break out of it towards the end of the year. Tesla may announce something huge, and then boom, big run towards the end. Just like that. That to me would not be a surprise. So that's pretty much how I see it, guys. I still see us having a good run. I could be totally wrong, but I don't necessarily believe the market's going to crash as hard as many people are saying. I don't also see a bear market. I think we could still rally this year if we do keep getting better fundamentally. I also think that there's a lot of noise out there that's making people think that the market's just going to crash so hard. And I could be wrong. Maybe we are going to see a major correction. Maybe. And if that were the case, maybe Tesla will drop as low as this. Maybe down here before seeing a big reversal. And if the market does end up tanking, I'll be prepared to buy the dips. I'll also be loading up on many call options for the long term. But this is something that could play out, guys. So we could see lots of sideways action for maybe a couple of weeks, a couple of months before we really start to run up towards the very end, in my opinion, when they start announcing some very huge things, especially the gigafactories. I don't know, guys. Maybe we're going to run up sooner because of the gigafactories. I just don't truly know that yet because it is a very capricious market. But this has to do more with how the overall market responds. But anyways, I hope you guys found value in this video. I wish each and every one of you the best. And I will see you guys on the next one. Tesla to the moon and peace out.